Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up, but first, as always, let's take a look at our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs, and it has been comfortable and will be the rest of this week. Comfortable. High of 83, low 62. Looking at the water temperature at the end of the pier, right at 76 degrees. Let's take a look at the Panama City Coca-Cola river readings. Apalachicola Bluntstown is steady. It's a steady 2.9, and the Choctaw Caraville is a 1.8. It's a repeat of last week before the rain. The last couple of weeks is what these rivers have been reading. So again, they're just historically low this time of year, and we don't have much rain in the forecast. Looking at the river reading is always important because what it does is just depicts what's going on in the river swamps, which tells what's going on. It's sort of like a domino effect, and that's why we always talk about the river readings here in the Florida Panhandle. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Take a look at today, October the 24th. Well, folks, that is some strong tides today, but enjoy today because the next 4 or 5 days is going to be neap tides. So it's going to be a good day today to get out. The wind direction will be coming out of the east at about 11. I want to say a good morning, a special good morning to Steve Sapp from Port St. Joe. Moved down here about 12 years ago, I think, from Indiana. And I've been watching the show since I moved down here. Appreciate the loyal viewership, Steve Sapp down there. All right, let's take a break. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at the big brim tournament we had down at Howard Creek. The Shad-Eye director staff puts on this tournament twice a year. And Patricia Fowler sent us some pictures. I appreciate that, Patricia. Here's the results right here. Let me see. Let's go back to what she said. Patricia Fowler. As a follow-up to the Director of Staff Brim Tournament, congratulations to the following top fishermen. First place was Mac Freeman, got 10 pounds, 10 ounces. Second place was a distant 7 pounds, 4 ounces by Wyatt and John Best. And third place, John Trachty and Eddie Curry, Tyler Best and Willis Trant. Okay, so here, let's run through the pictures right here. Okay, here's what they did. There were 16 teams. They put them all on the board. And weigh them in, see that number 2 right there, that was first place at 10 ounces. Junior Hagler, number 3, he didn't catch anything. Junior, what's up with you? All right, let's go to second place. Over here, that's Tyler and Willis Trant. I believe that's sixth place. Anyway, 6 pounds. There's second down there. Okay, and third. Okay, that's how they do it. You see a lot of the zeros in there now, so some of them, Willis Holly. Now, when number 15, Willis Holly right there, when he don't catch a fish, you know they ain't biting that day. Willis is a good fisherman. Just here's some of the guys right here. They worked hard. Look at there. I don't have everybody's names. We'll just sort of scan through them and all. Had a good time, and right there at the landing, and a good time was had by all. And the kids, all the kids that entered in it, they were able to give them free rod and reels thanks to WE, and also the Blue Water Outriggers donated rod and reels to these kids for participating in the brim tournament. Is that not great? Talking about doing good things for other folks? That's really good stuff right there. There you go. All right, big old nice Zebco right there. And Lordy, here we are getting ready to cook. What a crew here. But here's the crew. That's Randy Burton on the left, Mike Bodford. That same crew has cooked all these years, and nobody's been hurt yet. It was Shad-Eye Director Staff Fishing Tournament. Good group down there doing good things for folks, and I appreciate them doing all that good stuff. Let's go back. I wanted to, I was talking about the different big bucks. Each year we get the top 10 bucks, and Woods and Water recognizes the top 10 bucks and all. And in the past, I've done like all 10 of them at a time, and about 2 weeks ago, I showed the number 1 buck taken last year, and I decided to do 2 or 3 at a time. So I'm going to show you the second place deer and third place deer from last year. So this is off the Woods and Water magazine. I read about it. The story is what's interesting to me, how, you know, sometimes It's skill, sometimes it's luck, but most times it's a combination of both, just a little bit of knowledge. And this is the second place right here. This is Greg Stafford. He's from Hamilton County, and of course I won't read you the whole story, but he had a little piece of property over there in Hamilton County. That's around Mayo, the area over there toward Mayo. And this is the only deer that he really shot. There's a big deer. He had it on camera. And let's see, I'm going to show you the date. He took it on, let me see. The date was taken, okay, right here on the bottom right corner, November the 18th, 2022. And he was going to let his son shoot it, but his son couldn't get off work, so he went and shot it. But they had it on camera. A big buck on his own property up there. And then the third place deer, this guy right here, this is an interesting story. This is Cody Beasley from Hernando County. If you notice, he shot that buck with a bow. Look at that bow. It got red, white, and blue limbs on it. Cody Beasley in Hernando County, and that's a country place down there. They hunt. They're very similar to the Panhandle, just not that big. You're talking about the property though. He only had 5 acres. Now, you know, talking about all this land and all. He was able to do it on a 5-acre piece of property, and he always was a bow hunter. He used to shoot at his hay bales, he said, growing up. That's how he learned how to shoot. And he got the picture of the buck, and he ended up, he found, look at that picture right there. That was on his, can you imagine seeing that on a game camera? And he walked straight in, took the shot, and he was the deer ran about 25 yards and collapsed. But the score was 142 points. But anyway, that's his stories on buck number 2 and buck number 3. And it's interesting, and that buck was taken October 20th of last year. So both of those bucks were early season bucks, you know, way before the rut, October and November. And also the first 3 deer were way before the rut last year. We always talking about, you know, hunting the rut and doing things like that. So I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I'm constantly in search of interesting things to bring to you as my viewing audience to keep you interested, and I always do different things on different times, and I think it goes back to all my years of teaching. I didn't like to do the same thing every day, so I think that's helped me out in doing a variety of things on the show. I was thinking last night, I used to have some trivia questions to ask the kids, ask the students, and that was before phones came out, but I had to quit doing that because every time I asked a trivia question, they'd put out a phone and find out the answer. I had no clue what the answer was until they found it on the phone. But I was thinking, if I was going to ask a trivia question this morning, how about this for outdoors people? What's the lifespan of a cricket? Okay, a cricket. I didn't know it either. I had to look it up. Average of 90 days. I laughed. I thought that was like a warranty, a 90-day warranty. Their lifespan is about 90 days. I was thinking about fishing, all the shellcracker being caught and crappie being caught. I was thinking about the crickets. You know, you put a hook in them, the lifespan's over with. But normally they last 90 days. They can go about 1 week without food and water. And my dad would always slice a potato, make a potato wedge way back, and he'd put that. We'd use crickets one day, okay, and then that night he'd put a potato wedge in there with the crickets, and the next morning those crickets just be right on that potato wedge, you know, sucking the water out of it and all that. So that's, I don't know if people still do that kind of stuff or not, but it's always interesting. So anyway, they're talking about doing different things and all. I'm so pleased to bring this up because of the, we're talking about a squirrel tournament. Now, here it is right here. Let's talk about a squirrel tournament. Talking about, maybe I always think about my dad because that's how we learned how to hunt. I talked about this last week, and Pat's going to come on the show next week, folks, and we're going to talk about this tournament up here, Camp Seclusion, and outside of Bristol and Apalachicola National Forest. We're going to talk all about it, but you can basically, you can wear. Of course, young people have to wear orange, which is actually be mandatory anytime a young person gets in the woods. Everybody now needs to wear orange in the woods. It's because more people out there, and people are more careless now than used to be, and not intentionally, just don't know any better. And so anyway, the squirrel hunting is something sort of, you don't see a lot of it anymore. I know the folks at Weewall, the children's home down there, I remember talking to them about, they go every year camp out and squirrel hunting, but not a lot of that going on. And I started thinking last night as I was putting the show together about my brother and I, you know, as little kids, I talked about over and over again, going with my dad and with BB guns and all that, walking through the swamp. and some squirrel hunting tips that I remember. I still remember these squirrel hunting trips. I haven't squirrel hunted in quite some time. I don't know if I may enter this one, but here's my squirrel hunting tips. Okay, really coming from Willis Chester from way back in here. Okay, number one, remember. Okay, he always said when a squirrel sees you, he's going to just be still. Daddy said he's going to freeze, and they will. You walk through the swamp and they'll hear the twigs cracking or something. They see you and they'll just freeze. And so now, when they do that, they recognize you are, and then they're going to hide behind the tree or up in a limb or something. But anyway, once they hide, they're going to be still. Okay? So what we would do in the swamp, there are always a lot of vines. He would send one of us over to the tree to pull a vine to spook the squirrel out of the tree. So that's one of the tips right there. Once you see that squirrel and he hides from you, you can't find him because there's all kinds of leaves and limbs. Try to find a vine, okay? If you can't find a vine, the next thing we'd do, he'd have us throw something up there in the tree. And we'd get his pine cones, we'd throw all the energy up there, and the pine cone would go about halfway up the tree because it didn't have any momentum behind it. So then we started throwing twigs or whatever we could find. But anyway, you try to get a squirrel to move. The other one, make sure, this was a good one here. If that failed, Dad told us just be still a while, and then he would take his hand and run it through the leaves a little bit lightly. And what that was, that squirrel thought it was safe, and as the squirrels on the ground were feeding. Okay, so when you're hearing those leaves rustling and all, because it sounds just like it. And sure enough, that would bring them out. It was crazy. It just, these tips now, probably not in a book or anything, it's just some things I remember. And the places we'd go, you always go around food, no matter what kind of game, fish or game, you always go around where the food is. And of course, you know they love acorns and all the oak trees and all. We'd always hunt the river swamps. And there was all kind of, the trees are healthy down there. And we always hunted whiteheads down there in Telogy. I know there's still a lot of squirrels down there. We'd walk and walk and walk. And some people we enjoyed walking. Daddy just loved walking through the woods. But we had some other folks that hunted with us, around us. They'd walk a little bit, they would sit. I call that a sit method. I couldn't stand, I didn't have patience to sit and wait, but they would sit by a tree, get comfortable, and just sit there. And after they sit there a while and got quiet, then the squirrels would sort of come out a little bit so you could mark what tree they're in. Then you could get 2 or 3 by just sitting and waiting. And that is an effective way to do it, especially if you get tired and we have a kind of anal or something. It's a good way to do it. Okay, now, also another tip, we didn't have a dog. Some people have squirrel dogs, and they love the squirrel dogs. I've seen them operate, and they're some little terrier or just any kind of little yapping dog. They just love getting out in the woods. And what they would do, they were good for 2 things. They would retrieve, once that squirrel was shot and dropped down, they'd run and get that squirrel and bring it back to you. The other thing they would do, I'm talking about when they're hiding or something, you let the dog go, and the dog would spook the squirrel too out of the tree. And he'd jump from one tree to another tree, and then he had them located. And that was these tips now. This is invaluable information for you to pass on to your next generation. The guns we used, I have this gun now. When Dad passed away, he wanted me to have his old 22 automatic. 22 automatic. It's an old Woodstock. I'll take some pictures of it when they show it to you. He shot it with a 22, and then later on when he would let my brother and I would have a single shot 20 gauge. And really, that's not a bad gun. That's really a good gun. It's sort of, the 20 gauge went out of style for a while, but now it's coming back, especially on quail hunting and all, double barrel 20 gauge, and it's, it doesn't tear up the squirrel. And it would be nothing for us to get, I've talked about this before, one of my most vivid and favorite memories of as a kid walking through those Liberty County swamps. I'd be my dad up front, my brother, and then me, and I could remember just dodging the vines and looking. And Daddy he'd have his old World War II knapsack. They let them keep it after the war because the war ended, and he was able to keep it. U.S. Army on the back of it. I can still see it printed, a big old knapsack. And I wish I had a picture of it. I may get an artist to draw it as I describe it to him. But squirrel tails just hanging out. I don't know how many squirrel tails just hanging out. He just threw them in that old backpack, and we'd get back to the camp and start cleaning them. But we'd have to lay them out in line and count them. Don't have any pictures of those days, and I wish we did, but it would be nothing. At least 40, usually between 40 and 50. He would get that morning on Saturday mornings there. And then my brother and I started shooting. It seemed like the number went down then. I don't remember. But anyway, I probably a little bit longer than I thought it would on that, but it was just squirrel hunting. It goes way back in the South as far as people learning how to hunt. And yes, we ate every squirrel we shot, or either gave some to our neighbors. A little later down the street, the widow woman, Daddy would always help out some folks in the church and all. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. Good folks down there, always helping out the community in so many ways, and most ways we don't know about, but they help out a lot of folks in the Panhandle. Our time today, 7:59 to 9:59. Okay, this morning, this evening, 8:25 to 10:25. I have got a good report. I've gotten a good report from the crappie fishing over in Lake Talcott has been hot, and also the bass fishing has been hot in various parts of the Panhandle. Okay, we're talking about doing different things. I really talked about this a lot last week about just sort of driving through the woods and doing things. And we've got a picture I want to show you because this is the beauty you see this time of year. This is from, here we go, Jennifer Dutton Williams and Doug Williams, a Sunday drive at the lease. Okay, just driving through there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He was checking it on his game cameras and all, and checking on the feeder. But is that not beautiful? This time of year, all throughout the Panhandle, these beautiful flowers are out. Okay, move on now. I didn't cover this. I just want to share this with you because we're talking about the Emerald Coast Redfish Series. They have one over in Pensacola, and they wrapped up their season last week also. Most people are wrapping it up, but what I thought was cool about this was just the trophies. Here, I don't know who these guys are, but obviously a good red fisherman. But I just thought it was neat the way they did this. That's the Florida State flag and a redfish. The way and then they had a little plaque on the right, first place and all that. So I thought it was a cool award right there to hang up there in your garage, or if your wife lets you, you can hang it there in the living room. But anyway, congratulations, Paul Thrasher. We're talking about snakes yesterday. How about a pygmy rattler? We're talking about little snakes. That thing will come at you quick, quicker than a big snake will. I mean, those things are just lightning quick, and they're deadly also. Not real. They don't have a real big bite, but they have a deadly bite. Okay, warning: do not give Rice Krispies to young children. I eat them as a youngster. Now, when I stand up, I snap, crackle, and pop. Some of y'all appreciate that. And I'm talking about appreciation. Every family has that one kid. Is that not the truth? Honey, y'all show me, y'all hold up the fish and show me your fish. Okay, I just want to give y'all this is our Studio B. I was over there the other day. I said, it's full of my junk, but during COVID, we were able to, Jeff came out there and we were able to do a lot of good shows and got a lot of good, little church pew on the left, and Jeff is on standby if we need it again. So we got the lights out there, and that's a special place to me, that little trolling motor in the middle of the screen. That's a hand crank trolling motor. And that chair on the right, that's Gail's grandmother anyway. The trunk was her great granddaddy's when they came down from Alabama. Y'all want to know anything else about that room? The junk room. Okay, this is interesting. This is just a good trip out of Pirates Cove Marina. Came off the Panama City fishing page. They just, they're back at the dock at 2:30. They caught some bonita, but what they caught some black snapper, a couple of hours. They got some scamp. So look at these guys. William Walker and his crew. Just a good mess of fish. You can go over there and catch some good fish this time of year. Look at scamp and black snapper. Good trip right there. Okay, I was going to always give you a rundown. I go to Ducks Unlimited this time of year and give you a rundown on what's being taken. I thought this is interesting. There are no reports. The closest report is Montgomery, Alabama, or New Orleans, Louisiana. There are no reports from our area. So obviously, we're not getting some good duck hunting going on right now. We're sort of in between early season and Thanksgiving. I'm thinking during Thanksgiving holidays, it's going to really kick in. But I did want to share that with you. And along the same line, I went to Shark Tracker last night. Just going to check on that big old great white, folks. In the southeast, there's only 2 sharks pinging. Look at that. One down there in Miami and one off the South Carolina coast. So I didn't have much chance to share that with you. Okay, so anyway, that catches up on our pictures. I've got a bunch of other stuff to share with you. I don't really have time to get into it. Well, FWC, I do want to talk about some, well, let's go and take a look at this. Every Sunday morning, our church is sort of across the road from Mosley now, the Haven Methodist, and after the service, I made a ritual to go across the road and check on the outdoor ed construction. So that's part of my ritual before Sunday, between there and Sunday dinner. We go by there and check on it, and folks, it's making progress. I just want to I share this with you because it's an exciting time. Okay, the roof is on. I showed you last time, but look at the walls. Check it out. Look at the stud walls. That's all metal. That's cool. They're really making progress. You got the roof up there. You got the metal on the wall. But I didn't think about. I hadn't been going back behind it because I was just doing the front. Check this out. This is what I call the back porch, and when I helped do the plans, I explained to the architect when he was designing it. He asked me all kinds of information. I said, we do a lot of cooking. We need a back porch is what I told him. And did he not design a nice back porch, cooking and get the kids out there doing projects and everything? And I'm just so tickled with this. And there's another picture of it right there, a big old back porch, big old back porch. So that's just some cool and exciting times for the kids here in Bay County, particularly Moselsville High School. We were very, very pleased with it. And speaking of those kind of things, getting kids to do stuff, the FWC has a program where, and they're strong about this too, about encouraging young people and old people. And I have it all set up. I have the program set up for you. I'm going to run out of time to do it, but I will share this with you maybe later on this week. Tomorrow we're going to have Students of the Month. And then the next day, we have J.B. Hillard coming down from the Phoenix Springs talking about catching those mudders. So we've got a busy week schedule. I've got 3 or 4 people waiting in the wings to come on the show. That's a good feeling to have. I just got to schedule them in. These are very interesting people doing cool outdoor things and sharing things with you. And it's been a blessing to get to know a lot of these folks and all by doing this show. I'm going to wrap it up. If any of y'all have something really you think is interesting to bring on the show and share with the viewers, I have an open door policy. It's all about us. You got to be a real person now. You can't be no actor or anything like that. Real people doing real things in the Florida Panhandle. It don't matter if you've been here 3 generations or 2 weeks. It don't matter to me. If you're an outdoorsman, we have that bond. Okay, wrap it up. Y'all do something good today for your fellow man. Share some of these good activities y'all do for the other folks, and I'll talk about them too. It's good stuff. Have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors and take care of outdoors. God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.